Alright, I wanted to review the plans that we've submitted again for the building permit. Just quickly, the changes, A and B, some information about the exterior, and some alternatives at the exterior that I didn't want to take up any more time reviewing with you prior to submitting the plans for the permit and the exterior. This trim stuff can be changed without regard to the permit. So briefly, we had to extend the length of the thing by 8 inches to 14 feet. And sadly, I needed 4 more inches unless I was going to make the windows smaller still and unbalanced. I had to extend its width by 4 inches, costing us over in this corner. Hopefully that was partly based on the idea that you were going to go with that, I think it's called the TX model, that has the kind of triangular or pie-shaped form. So that is what happens at the size of the thing, and of course, a person will have to add additional foundation anchors beyond these special ones that we need for wind bracing. And so that was done so that we could have a 16-inch panel here and a 16-inch panel here, and then 2 16-inch panels down at the south gable wall. The only other thing really changed within the floor plan is we needed to change this to LVLs. We increased this length for one, increasing the load on that, and they didn't want. They needed special engineering on anything that was not an LVL. So those have been changed to LVLs. At the section view, the only thing that really, there's several things that have changed as a result of this all. The bearing height has increased slightly here, but we don't want to pull the roof planes up any higher, so what we need to do is notch and drop those so that we can maintain our alignment as shown here. Just notch those up. It's a little bit of work, but if we notch those at a 3.5-inch heel, still meet code, still give you this insulation thickness, and we'll maintain our alignment outside. And finally and that was all as a result of having to change beam D, which I didn't cover in the floor plan, but we had to change beam D to 2x12s instead of 2x8s. So that's it on the major changes, or the changes between the first plans and this one. Now, I want to talk about the exterior though. The way it's shown and been submitted, it has these really wide panels at the corner facing south, and then it has wide panels. Well, we won't try that right now. It's got wide panels at these corners, and you can go with that, but I'm not sure it's the best look now. Before we had a different situation, now we've got this situation, so you may at least want to consider some alternative exterior trim treatments. If you do want to use these big wide panels, there's a product, really the only one I was able to find, that will provide those for you without you having to seam up lumber here. It's Kleer, K-L-E-E-R, available down at Reckworth. In any case, I didn't particularly care for this. I think it was just too heavy. Obviously, the other thing you will want to do is move the spout, and I've shown it on the plans, moving the spout out here south, particularly since this space got a little tighter in here. That'll help you there. It also helps to mitigate this open area here. But in terms of alternatives to that, this is the first situation where I've made these corner boards much smaller, 4.5 on this dimension and 3.5 on the east and west sides. I'm showing, this width is dictated by the spacing of the windows. It's about 4.5. I'm showing 4 here. I suppose it probably should be 4.5 also, but I'm showing the head pieces here. Pretty much to match this headpiece over here, which is something in the neighborhood of 9 inches. Now here's what this looks like from outside. So there's endeavor to have this align with the height of this piece here. Whether that's the thing to do or not, you'll be better you'll have an idea of what you like and what you do not. This is the same situation, except that I've made those headpieces closer to 5 inches. They're still thicker than or still wider than the verticals, but not as wide as they were, and I think it kind of looks better here where it interfaces with this arched portion. And this is what it looks like from that view outside. You can see now that this also, there's a treatment done here to avoid these wide panels that we had over at those corners. This is another look with that. And there's the short, you see, but I still think it probably looks better from this angle than that. But again, it's a judgment you can make either on the fly or prior to actually ordering your material. So this is what the plans as submitted are looking from the west, and the mirror of this or from the east, and the mirror of this at the west. And I'm not sure, again, this is a very wide panel. Perhaps a nice chunky light fixture can be put here or something. But if you wanted to get away from that big wide flat panel there, you could do something like that, where this is probably 4 or 5 inches here, and you can make 4 or 5 inches there. We can't move this window any closer because we have this 16-inch wide panel that's required to be maintained. This is showing it with no casing at all. It always, to me, looks a little unfinished. And this is kind of a minimal casing. This is just a 2-inch board maintaining some sort of pieces of siding. These would still need nailed and drilled, or drilled before you nail them probably. And then it's worse there, but maybe that's the way to go. This is awful narrow here. It looks to be about maybe 2 inches at the most. If all of this is bothersome, sure, we could pull the addition yet another 4 inches out this way. And that's really not a problem if you want to do that. It's a quick revision that we could submit. But on the other side, it's a similar situation. I'm just showing it with the 3-inch margins. I think I'm liking it more than this situation here. I think I'm liking any of the results. Whoops, more than that. But you'll have to make a call on that. And there's the clear sheet. And in the second part, part 2 of 2, there are some short, 3-dimensional films run of the various alternatives.